Extraordinerd, estamos aquí con Alicia Vikander, protagonista de Tomb Raider. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
Welcome to Mexico.
Thank you. I'm so excited to. It's my first premiere in Mexico, so I'm really excited for tonight.
I'm very excited about the movie. Congratulations, because I think it's, video game movies don't have a very good reputation, and this one I think is very good. It could totally change that.
Oh, that's fun to hear. Thank you. That's cool.
I was wondering, were you scared at first when you were offered this role because of all this reputation?
To be honest, if I would get into any film thinking about all the things that could go wrong, I think I would be in a very bad place. And that's the thing, making films in general is really tough. But I would never go on to any project if I didn't, truly believe that you can make something really interesting and new.
The first time I played Tomb Raider, I was like 8 years old or something.
Cool, we were the same age then.
Yeah. That's cool. And it was very meaningful to me to have a female protagonist. And I think that your role, your Lara, is even more empowering for young girls. So what do you think about being a role model for them?
I mean, like you said, for growing up, and we didn't have, sadly, a lot of female kind of characters that we could look up to. It was almost like it was this man, dominated game industry and up on screen. And when I saw Lara Croft up on screen, I was really curious, and I wanted to play. And I remember watching Angelina Jolie too, and that was like one of the first time I had seen a female lead in that kind of genre. And then I think, I got the call about this film, and I played video games when I was a kid, but I haven't done it so much for the last 15 years. And I said, well, haven't it been done before? And then they introduced me to the reboot of the game that came out in 2013. And I thought it was really interesting what the game company had chosen to do, because it was almost like they've taken the essence of this character that, of course, have really inspired and meant a lot to a lot of people over 22 years now, but tried and make it a character and a woman that I think an audience nowadays, with the times that we're living in now, will be able to relate to. We get to now be on her journey, first of all, so she's not an action hero when we meet her. It feels more of like a woman out on our streets that we can relate to. She's not taking the easy road just yet of taking her father's money. She doesn't live in the manor. She wants to create her own destiny and make her own path in life, which I find really empowering. And the fact that she has all the famous traits, and that's the kind of personalities that she's able to pull out of her when she goes on this first adventure. But she's also not afraid of showing herself being human and vulnerable, which makes you be able to hopefully relate to her.
Talking about the reboot of the game, I think many of the scenes are exactly like in the reboot. Like, for example, the boat scene is very similar. Were you shown the cinematics before shooting a scene?
I played it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, like I said, I haven't played video games in the last 15 years much, but it's mostly because it's very time consuming. I sadly don't have the time. But, with this film now, they were like, having someone to tell you, well, it's going to be your job now, you need to do your proper research. I was like, great, I need to go and get my PlayStation, and I'm going to sit down and I'm going to play the game. And then, of course, I got some help along the way because I'm not as good. So walkthroughs, but I wanted to get through them all and experience the what happens in it. So that was a lot of the things that we talked about, that we wanted to give Easter eggs for the fans of certain scenes in our film.
I get frustrating just by playing it, because sometimes you just don't nail it the first time. You have to repeat the same moves over and over again. I guess you had to repeat the stunts many times. Were you ever frustrated by that?
Yeah, I think it's frustrating sometimes when things don't go your way, or I really wanted to try and do as much of the stunts myself. And I had incredible stunt, women and men that really, tried to teach me as much as they could, and then of course there's the grueling truth of making films. It's like when my friends sometimes come and visit me on set, they're like, are you doing it again? I'm like, yeah, we need to do about 6-8 different setups, and you do about at least between 3 and 6 takes per setup, so you end up doing the stunts quite a few times.
If there was a sequel and you got to choose what part of the world and culture you could explore, which would it be?
I've twice in my life bought tickets to Iceland and then couldn't go because of work that came, and so Greenland and Iceland, thinking about it, must be a lot of amazing caves and tombs down in the glaciers. That would be cool.
I love that in the trailer they included the Survivor cover of Destiny's Child. And I mean, if we're the same age, probably you were a fan of Destiny's Child too. What do you think about this? It's a very empowering song.
Well, I thought it was cool because it was just a word that I had used. I mean, I didn't know that they were going to choose this song. It was, you know, it was a surprise to me when I saw the trailer the first time. But that was something that I always came back to, and I had as a word while shooting. I was like, well, I love that the reason why she pulls out this warrior within her comes from the fact that she's without any experience, not unknowing that she's going to go on this adventure. She needs to first of all become a survivor. So that's the word I had used a lot when we were filming, so I thought that was a pretty sweet thing when I saw that they had. And also I'm a huge old fan of Destiny's Child and Beyonce, and well.
And last question, another great explorer of movie history, Indiana Jones, was terrified of snakes. What animal are you terrified of?
Well, you just mentioned it. And I mean, it was so funny. We had a big crew. And one day I was told, because it's so much people, that's a big difference of making indie films and studio films. I was like, I've seen this guy over here now for like a week. I was like, what is he doing? You know, and I went up and said hi to him. He was like, no, my job is to make sure there's no snakes on set. I was like, what? And that is the one phobia I have. Like all little other bugs and spiders or whatever is fine, but snakes I'm terrified of. But thank God he did a good job. I didn't see any during our shoot.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you so much.